Hello, my little munchkins, crones, and sunflowers. We're back after a break. So anyway, we're going to do, what is it? We're going to do the final, what is it? The ultimate, what is it?
Yes, the Ultimatum, South Africa.
The Ultimatum, South Africa. But before we get to the end, we want to go on a couple of episodes and get some highlights about what happened. And then we're going to go and break down the end. And then I'm going to give my commentary. Go ahead, baby Crone.
Okay, well, to pick up where we had left off a few videos ago was shortly after Lebo and Nola had their fight, Sika, who was at the time with Nick, she, for some reason, somehow she ended up talking to Kanya because Nick was just like, just go talk to her. I think you guys need to talk some stuff out. And then he decides to leave Sika and Kanya to talk it out.
Who is Sika?
Sika is Giggles, the one that...
Oh.
Yes, and Kanya called her all types of names, and I wrote them down. Sorry to repeat them, but she called her Ratchet, Hood Rat, Fatty Boom Boom. She called her disrespectful.
She did. She didn't deserve that.
No, she didn't.
And let me add, I felt as though Nibble, when those guys were fighting, she enjoyed it.
She did.
For her to be so quiet and act so timid, she's violent. She is a violent person, and she to me. She was violent. She did things. You know what? I don't like people that come off like they so righteous and they do a whole lot of things. She spied on them.
Yes.
She did that. When the girl felt like, okay, I don't want her to find out later that we had sex. This is Ruth. Mm-hmm. So let me tell her now because you're dealing with crazy boom boom.
Yeah.
So it was no crazy ticky boom boom. That's what we dealing with. Ticky boom boom. Why she come on the show? Why she doing all of this? This is what it was all about. I don't care what kind of promises you make. You make promises that are impossible.
Yeah.
He's going to be sleeping with another woman. Maybe he used to having sex more often. You can't be with them. What do you expect when you put two grown people together?
That's true.
Not everybody is going to be like Aiden.
Yeah.
Which they disgust me and why they on the show. But I'll get back to them.
Yes,
but it was so funny when what's his name? Nibbles Nola. They fought and he tripped. The whole time she was drinking her beer.
She was laughing
inwardly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, they fighting over me.
She was like reveling in it. She loved it.
Go ahead, baby.
Yes. You could just see it as she sit there. It's almost like she was drinking tea. She's like, look at this mess I've created.
They're fighting over me. And they weren't fighting over you. They were fighting, he was fighting over Ruth.
Yeah.
Because when they together and we're married, I shouldn't have to come back and tell a bunch of men what I did.
Yes.
I shouldn't have to do that. That is not what this show was about. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't handle it, so you left. And in return, Ruth got hurt by it.
Yeah.
So I didn't, although I thought it was good TV.
It was.
But for me, I didn't like it. I loved the action, but I didn't like the way that she acted. And let me skip because I want to just deal with this. And then at the end, her and Isaac had been talking.
Yes. Oh my God.
I'm just going to blend them all together. Her and Isaac has been talking, and Isaac got the nerve because he's upset because he slept with Ruth, and Ruth loved it. Mm-hmm. And won't recant on her words. I love that. That's a woman after my own heart.
Yes.
I'd rather tell the truth than to sit there and lie. And I understand what's his name is.
Nola
meant. I'm going to tell, but in my own time, because he knew he was dealing with ticky boom boom.
Yes, he did.
He knew. And Ruth felt guilty. But you know what I tell you about that guilt? Who did it help? No one. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't have came off like that. But Ruth got that strong presence.
She does.
Not Ruth. not Ruth, Libu.
Oh.
Libu have a very, very
She does.
strong personality. She's passive aggressive. And she is physical.
Mm-hmm.
And it's shown. I've seen her hit what's his name? Nola several times.
Yes, that is true.
And that's not cool either.
No.
Everyone feel as though that the host was a good host. They didn't really do anything.
Exactly.
To me. So I don't know, but I guess as far as host is concerned, they were a good host. But at the end, she was by herself, so something must have happened. But I did like the host, but I don't know, even at the end, when Nola was upset, she didn't even know how to deal with it.
No, she didn't.
So I don't
really
know what people mean when they say that's a good, a host will get up and go and check.
Or keep the show rolling.
Or keep the show rolling. But she didn't even know how to handle it. But these are my observations. And maybe I'm tainted with American TV.
That's true.
So I only know counselors always showing up. Counselors are there. That's how I know. Bodyguards and counselors.
Yep, try to solve the problem.
And fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I didn't like the way they kept going to Noah about it. I didn't like it. And let me get on about, so that fight, I didn't like that Libu relished in it. Mm-hmm. She did, and that bothered me. And another thing I didn't like, everyone trying to give, here is, what's his name that was with Zitsuka?
Nick?
No, Genesis. No.
Oh, Genesis.
Who is Genesis?
Genesis is Tabby's man.
The one that always talked wise, who went and talked to Noah.
Genesis
had the nerve. I don't know what's going on and the money you need. Here it is, a year later, and they still not married. Hardly nobody on that stage was married.
No.
Get out of here. What was the point of it?
Y'all really missed the show.
A year?
Yes.
A year?
Mm-hmm.
A year later.
And half of y'all engagements are not even complete, not even wearing rings.
Broke up, but you're still staying in a relationship that's dead.
Yes. There was
if the man don't want to marry you, it's always about, I got to get the money right. Genesis is really, really good on paper, but he, to me, BS.
Okay.
Why? He hasn't done anything.
No, you're right. He really hasn't.
None of. And the white couple, what's their name?
Aiden and Courtney.
Who he has so much mouth. He played it safe. He went with Libu so he wouldn't have to be intimate with anybody. Because at the end of the day, he really wanted, was it Giggles or Suka? Sika.
Yeah, Sika.
He wanted Sika, but he didn't go with Sika. He went with Libu.
Yeah.
Because he knew he chased after Sika, calmed it down, but he didn't go with her for whatever reason. It's just, to me, they were a waste. I'm sorry, out of everyone. Then at the end, they act like they were together and they were still at ground one after 7 years.
She's like, I'm just glad he picked me. I'm enjoying this moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Tell it to the birds. Here we have Sika and Genesis. Same thing. Mm-hmm. What a waste. I'm sorry. People may not agree with me. I am just good job. But the end result?
No. Yes.
A year? I could see if it was 4 months later, 5 months later, 6. But a year?
A year.
Y'all all still in the same position?
Yes. The only thing you guys have is a ring or not.
And those that broke up, that was smart.
It was.
Because at least Ruth ended it.
Yes.
Her and Isaac.
Mm-hmm,
but I didn't like the way Libu ended it with him. Mm-hmm. And getting back to end it, but they back together.
Yes.
In real time.
Yes.
Didn't you just find that
out?
Yes, I
found that out. Allegedly.
And which is the one who what's his name?
Nick and Kanya. Yes.
She done had a baby. I was wondering, I said, is this woman pregnant? How does she have a baby? If her and Nick was only together for a year.
Well, at the time they filmed that, 6 months.
At the year, they was only together for 6 months. Mm-hmm. So now it's a year and 6 months has gone by. Yes. So Nick, is that his name? Mm-hmm. Nick was reckless and and she got pregnant. To me, that's a trap baby. She trapped him. That's what that is. That's my opinion.
I mean, you could say
That's
that
the way it is to me. I'm just voicing my opinion.
because the way they did say it is that they had separated and then they were wanting to work on themselves.
And she got pregnant.
Yep. And then they were just like, okay, now we have to get together. But here's the kicker. She was just like, I was pressuring him to marry me because I didn't want a baby
6 months.
out of wedlock.
She didn't want to have a baby after 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
She's pressuring him to marry her, right?
Yes.
So she gets pregnant probably after filming, deliberately. She has a boy, and now he's supposed to be so happy. They are not a good match, and I said it, and then they're not going to work it.
No, they are separated.
They're not married. They broke up.
Yes, they broke up because he wrote a whole message to the fans on his social media.
What did he say?
I got it right here for you.
So we're gonna go with the last endings of this, but as she's looking this up, let me talk about Aiden and Courtney.
Okay.
Why are you proposing to this man, Courtney?
Yeah.
You would have been better off being with Genesis, because at least you had a chance. Y'all was working. I don't even understand why you with that buster.
Yeah, honestly, because her main problem that she has with Genesis was not with Genesis. The main problem she had with Aiden, which when they were finally, to go back a little bit because we're blending it, when it was the changeover and they went back to their original partners to have a trial marriage with them, Courtney got to meet Aiden's parents, and Courtney and Aiden's parents got to meet each other for the first time, and they were
really,
yeah, that
was the first time.
Yeah, their two parents had met each other.
Well, no, but okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
I guess it's
so all that for no wedding.
Yeah, actually, that is
true.
And they were.
And why were they on the show? They were just. I mean, honestly. I felt as though if it was going to be a diverse, they needed two white couples. Two white couples, just one, and it just seemed like Aiden didn't want to be with them black girls like that. I didn't like it. And I think that Courtney and him made an agreement before they went on the show. And so Courtney, that's the way it looked to me.
It does.
So it was a misfit, and I'm claiming that, and I own that. Whether it was or wasn't, that's the way my mind took it.
Yes.
So if my mind taking it like that, then it was a gap for it to be there.
Yes, and I want to know, because everybody is preaching on this show about how their partners haven't changed or they still the same after a year. Courtney's main problem with Aiden is that he's very indecisive and he can't make up his mind.
But she's still with him.
Yes.
That why were they on the show?
I have no idea.
And the same thing with Janice and Tabby.
Yeah.
Why are they together? These are the two couples that have been together for 7 years. And you still, now 8. That's ridiculous. Yeah. That's ridiculous to me.
But this is what Nick had to say on his social media.
Okay.
I am finally able to share.
What is the date of that?
3 days ago.
Okay, because I wanted to keep it fresh.
Okay. Yes. I am finally able to share an update with you about what's really been happening between Kanye and I.
Knew they were
shortly after filming the reunion, thanks to the confidential agreement that required me to wait until the release of the reunion. After shooting the Ultimatum in March 2023, we discovered Kanye was pregnant, even though we had already decided to separate around April 2023.
Make it make sense.
I promised a promise ring at the time to prioritize therapy for both of us, given the emotional and mental challenges we faced before, during, and after the show. Shortly after filming the reunion, Kanye and I agreed that even though we are not together anymore, what matters more is the final sin matters regarding Q. That's the name of their baby boy.
What's his name? Q?
Q.
Q.
Throughout most of this pregnancy, we focused on prioritizing therapy to address unresolved issues. We were adamant about not reuniting solely for the sake of our child, understanding the importance of healing as individuals. We've recognized that we have also fluctuating between lovers. Yeah, just pretty much a whole statement about why they're not together.
Let me hear.
Okay, watching the series a day before the shooting of the reunion, more than a month ago, made us realize even more that there were deeper issues we were not addressing within ourselves.
And he was good with Tabby. Was he with Tabby or Sika?
Sika.
They were wonderful together.
They really were.
And Ruth and Noah was good together.
They were.
But this is what I'm saying. All this, Ruth can't forgive him because Ruth went out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like this. It was a mess, but it was a good mess for us as watching. But in real life, I can't imagine, and I truly believe that Isaac and Libu had conversations.
Oh yes.
And he was talking about how he's seeing somebody. So for him to boldly get up, Isaac get up and boldly say she's not happy. If I was Libu, I would be like, and this is the pot calling the kettle black or green. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is the woman that you saying that you seen that's in another.
Another state, another long distance.
So no, I felt the way. No, y'all were, and they made it like Noah. What's his name?
Nola.
Nola was the worst. How was he the worst? It only fell on Nola because of Ruth's big mouth. She couldn't keep it to a secret because she felt guilty because Libu was making her feel guilty from the beginning.
Yeah.
And Libu is wrong.
She is.
And I'm standing on principle on that.
Even at the way oh God, it was so awkward watching this.
It was cringy.
It was. Because he's up there talking about how happy they are and how they are together again. And then here goes Lebo. So, Isaac broke it first. And then Nola was like, what do you mean? And then Lebo finally looked at
because Isaac said that she wasn't happy.
And she's like, it is true. I am not happy.
But they back together.
They're back together.
Nola, leave her alone.
Isaac, leave her alone too.
No, be with Isaac. Be with Isaac. But Nola needs to leave her alone. She's too aggressive.
She is.
She's mean.
She literally got him wrapped around her finger.
Yeah. And how
all he wants to do is please Lebo, and Lebo is so hard to please. She's like, you literally have not changed. I don't know who you are. You wear so many masks. And he's just like,
but she wear masks too. At least I seen two. She's passive aggressive and she's a violent person. Whether she wants to admit that or not. She attacked that man physically.
And
at one point she physically attacked him that he had to rise up out of the chair and move away from her. So miss me with that. I'm innocent.
Yeah.
And blaming Nola for everything. It takes two to make it, and it takes two to misunderstand.
Yeah, for real.
It takes two people to have a misunderstanding, not one. Because if we're talking and I misunderstand, it becomes an our problem. So I see a failure of communication, and Libo is she comes off as very quiet, but she's deadly.
Yes.
And that move she did again to hurt him. Just like when she had him and Isaac up fighting over her. But Isaac wasn't fighting over her. He was fighting because he didn't know how to deal with his jealousy, because he knew that they were sleeping together, her and Ruth. And that's right, Nola. I wouldn't go back and sit back and say what I'm doing to a bunch of men, especially that white man who ain't do nothing at all. Miss me with that.
Yeah, for real.
Miss me over there, okay?
And then even again, you saw Lebo sitting on her high horse.
To me.
Because when the such a great host, you guys say, had asked Lebo, because Nola had apologized, and he was just like, I'm sorry, I see that I've hurt you. And she just stood there like,
So let me get to the rest so we can end this. So when I see about, who is that?
Sika.
Who had the teddy bear?
Oh, that was Tabby.
So Genesis left. Who left the teddy bear?
Lindell had left the teddy bear for Tabby.
And Tabby is just responding, oh, I didn't leave him nothing. Tabby really loved him.
She really did.
This is why I'm surprised that their relationship, no, Tabby is with Genesis. And that's why their relationship isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
But Genesis got all this wisdom for everyone else, but he needs to take the wisdom. If I saw my man happy, a happiness that I couldn't give him, why am I going to sit there and go ring around the rosies, pocket full of posies, when I already know she don't love me like that? Yeah. That's just two people that's clinging together, but they don't have no future. After 8 years,
yeah,
and you still miss me,
yes,
miss me. This is what I'm saying. This is some America stuff.
Yes.
I thought that it would be different in another culture. No, but it was very entertaining, and I will watch it again. So about them to see that nothing changed, and with that white couple, nothing.
Yeah.
And she proposed to him, and at the end she's going to say, "Yeah." I'm like, he doesn't want you. Clearly, if after 8 years you still talking about money and he's indecisive, something's wrong.
Yeah.
You're wasting your baby years. Why are you doing that?
Yes, but moving on to Lindell, who was dating Sika, because Sika even had to thank Tabby because she was just like, this might be hard for me to say, but I want to thank you for loving Lindell in such a way that he realized how to love a woman. Or love a girl that he's into. She was like, because of you, Lindell treats me way better than before we had this ultimatum.
But are they together? No. Are they married?
No. He says that he still wants to work on them, and their family has
This is some craziness if ever. A year later, and the only things we saw was 2 breakups.
Yeah.
Ruth and Nibble.
Yeah.
Everybody else is still faking the funk.
Yes, and still faking the funk.
Living in the same condition what they had when they first came in there. Crazy.
Yeah, it is honestly crazy.
And the reunion?
The only thing I like about the reunion is that they had organization by going from couple to couple, and it kind of bounced off of each other. So that's the one thing I did like, because I wasn't sure how they was going to wrap up this season.
But what I also liked is they made Ruth and Isaac and Libu
and Nola.
They were like their whole topic throughout the whole thing, in my opinion.
That is
so
true.
The other couples, they were like, they talk. That's what I'm saying. They really didn't talk much to them,
right,
about anything, because they were all in the same position. The only position that changed was Libu and Ruth.
Right.
At least it was over. Even though that we found out that Nola got back with her. You see where that goes.
Yes, and Kanye had a baby out of wedlock.
Oh, yes. Kanye had a baby by, what's his name?
Nick.
Out of wedlock. Who she said she didn't want. She nailed that man. She was like, and you're gonna love me, baby. I'm gonna have your baby. But she's act like she changed, but clearly she hasn't.
No.
And and then he sits there and say, this is what Nick said, whatever his name is. He's gonna sit there and say about what's her name? Who we talking about? Kanye. He's gonna defend her.
Yes.
But yet you broke up with her. It doesn't work.
No.
She's a bully. I've heard so many things on the net about her. That even when she was a kid, she was a bully. There was this girl that said that she was in her class and she didn't never like to eat her lunch. And that Kanye stuffed her sandwich or stuffed her food in her mouth. She said she always was a bully. Always was like that. I've heard negative stories about this woman. Yeah. And Nick is still with her, but it's not going to work.
I don't know what he loves about her so much.
And this is the woman that you got pregnant that's raising your child.
Yeah, for real.
And when they found that out of shock, they was like, everyone had that, well, many of them had that look like, Like,
Yes.
oh my God. That's how I felt when I found out she had your baby. I'm not surprised. She's a desperate woman. She's looking for someone to take care of her because she's an entrepreneur. She wants somebody to take care of her. That's her job. That is it. So but one thing I can say about Ruth, I can say about Konya, she brought good TV.
She did.
She brought that. She's a baddie. I like that about her, and that she was honest. That's what I admired about her and Ruth. Even though I felt as though her Kanye attitude sucks, it was horrible, distasteful, but you knew where you stood with her. And I like that about her. Better than Lebo, better than her who sat there and act like everything and these men fighting and she's smiling. Just go back and look at the delight on her face.
Yes, you'll see
it. And who else? I don't know. I feel like we're not mentioning someone.
It was really not much to talk about.
They didn't really talk. I'm telling you, that was it.
It really, that honestly was it, because Ruth and Isaac, when they came back to the reunion, when it was their ultimatum, they didn't get together at the very end. So when they came to the reunion, they were still not together. Ruth is dating whoever she's dating. Isaac's like, I got some type of potential. No. Yeah. So that was that. And then Lebo and Nola, because they had left the show, we wasn't sure where they stood, but apparently they are on again, off again relationship. Yikes, those really don't
So we know that ain't that. They need to just end it.
Yes.
People need to know when to let go. I'm serious. That's a hard lesson to learn.
Yes.
You waste your years on a no good relationship, Courtney. Let that go. Look, Genesis, right?
Yes.
Him and this girl not together.
It's true.
Give Genesis, but he probably too dark for you. That's what it looked like to me.
That's how they felt on this show. They weren't a good fit. So much so that when the changeover happened, Aiden was just so happy to get back to Courtney. He's like, you know what? I now realize I have a good woman. He was like, let me just go back what I'm
and they looking at Aiden like they had all the
answers.
And look at them. They still broke down.
The only thing that has changed is that he finally has a job. That was another thing she was complaining about.
But still, they're not married. I'm done.
And she said that, and she proposed to him too, because
after he proposed to her. That's crazy.
She was like, if he wasn't gonna marry me, I'm gonna marry him.
He still didn't marry you.
And you still haven't married him.
Oh Jesus. They need to hang me in the car. They need an altar call. I'm just saying. That is just ridiculous. So, what about? I'm looking at. Did we get all the relationships in?
Yes, we did. I guess really.
What about Giggles?
Sika.
She
didn't really.
I really like her.
Yes.
She is one of my faves, and Ruth is one of my faves. I have to admit that. They to me were good, and I thought that Sika, is that her name? Yes, Sika. I like her personality, and she's with Genesis, right?
No, Lindell.
Oh, she's with Lindell. That ain't that.
Yeah, who Tabby showed how to love a woman, right?
No, I just feel like these couples are not right. I'm sorry, they need to break up.
The only thing that we did get from this reunion, though, even though Kanya apologized for what she had called,
she called her a lot of things, but the big boom boom boom, what is it?
Goofy boom boom, fat offs. Sorry for fat shaming. She said
that was horrible.
It was. She said that, and the only way Kanye could bring that back, she was like, I was just going through a lot at that time, and there's just so many triggering things.
That is who she is.
Yes.
So you can't fake that. That you're not going to get on camera and show your ass. So no, that's who she is, and worse.
Yeah. And
worse. We seen Konya. This is unmasked.
Yeah.
That was Konya. And the way that she talked to her boyfriend,
Nick,
it was a sin. For them to be together for 6 months and need counseling, you all need to break up.
Yeah.
But she trapped you. She trapped you. She'll use protection. She trapped you. Now you got to deal with that woman for the rest of your baby's life.
Yeah.
And your life, because you sold it down the river.
This was good.
So she's an entrepreneur, because I don't know how it worked in the country, but now you got her. She's your baby daddy.
Mm-hmm. What is very important is before they had made the ultimatum and Nick had proposed to Sika, he said, besides the fact that he said that he realized that after going through this experience with other women, that Sika really is, no, not Sika, that Kanya really is the only woman he wants to like get along with and share feelings with. But he did say that with Sika, he felt like she was such a good thing that he didn't deserve her. That's
Sika.
Yeah, Sika, because that's who he was dating during the trial marriage.
Oh, that's who was married to.
Yes, okay. And he's saying that Sika's such a great person and a good person that I feel like she's too good for me, and I feel like I'm not worthy of being in a relationship with her. So he went back to Kanya. You had your chance. You had your chance, bro.
But I think that I would like to know, I was hoping that we would hear some of them got back together talking clearly. They have been talking. Ruth is done.
Yeah.
But I Ruth can't be mad at anybody but what Ruth did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good show. A good show, very good. They can come back and bring a couple more couples, but I would like for it to be a little bit diverse. If it's not going to be diverse, just let it be Black Africans. But please don't bring one couple and it just, it didn't fit, and that's my opinion. But I really loved it on this show. I didn't like the end because I just felt like everything they went through, it just was like for kicks and giggles. Because I didn't see anything change.
No.
Nothing.
Not
but
really.
I did see relationships end. But then at the end of the day, the only relationship that end is Ruth. So she took it seriously.
Yes.
And she broke up with Isaac. And she didn't go back. But you see Level, she's still back with Noah.
Yeah.
So there you have it. And Courtney still. And there is Genesis, no ring.
No
and
ring.
Then here you see the other one, Nanel, what's his name?
Lindell.
They're still in the same position. Why? Because they dealing with the money
and family
and all this. Then it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. So, but other than that, I thought it was good. This show gets a 100 for me. Yes. I did not care for the end. I was hoping that I would see something more and something that people moved on or let go. Mm-hmm. But for it to be at the end, the same way they walked in, it's the same way they walked out. Yes. So they didn't even take advantage of the situation. The very fact that you had emotion for someone else, that you should know that this is not the way. But I see a bunch of scared men and women to move on. That's so true. They hang on to what is familiar. Yep. And it isn't going to work. If it didn't work in 7 years, you thinking you're waiting another 7, you're wasting your baby years and you're wasting your age to do this. Yep. Move on. That is what I have to say.
Especially some of y'all want to have kids.
If you want to have children, I know Sika don't want it. Sika.
Yeah, right? No, she doesn't want
kids. She don't want kids.
Soon.
And she doesn't love him like that, if you ask me. That's my opinion.
I don't know, but she seemed to glow. Well, I mean,
she's very pretty.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with her smiling face, but she just seems so happy, like they could be like.
I love that orange on her too.
Yes,
very pretty.
Yes,
very pretty girl. I think that she's pretty, and I did not like the way that Conga spoke to her, but that's okay because she's a champ. And like I don't know anybody who laughed even when they sad, and even though it's not funny, she laughed. I understood that.
Yeah.
And there are people who laugh when they're crying inside.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you've done that. I know I have. So I really enjoyed the show. My final thoughts are I hope they come back again with South Africa. I would like to see a little bit more diversity. Instead of you had your 6 couples, was it 6 couples?
Yes, it was
I
6
think
couples.
it should be 2 be mixed couples.
Okay.
It shouldn't be 1. I didn't like that because maybe they could pick amongst themselves. What do you think?
Yes.
But I enjoyed it anyway. Your final thought?
Yes, my final thoughts about this show is it was a roller coaster. It has its ups and it has its downs. And honestly, I'm just glad we're off this roller coaster because it produced nothing.
Nothing.
After a year.
A year. A year.
Broken hearts and feelings were for nothing. Y'all went through this experience for nothing. Your relationships ended for nothing.
No, only 2 ended, but they got back together. But the rest of them are still in the same mess they came in with. So that's
y'all
sad
are the ones that are the low key crazy ones.
That's crazy to me. To be on TV national, to be all over the world, and to come back a year later, you're sitting in the same pile of caca that you had. I'm done. I can't.
Right. You guys see like this minuscule of like change. You're just like, we're taking a step forward. We're ready for this. It's that much. You need like yay much to be like, I think we're ready to move forward.
And they're not. No. So other than that, it was good. Any final comments?
No, that is all.
You sure?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's it. And we gave you the ultimate. What is it? South African Ultimatum. I enjoyed it. I hope it come on again. I like it. I would like to see what other new couples they would bring, but I really, really enjoyed it. And with that being said, what do we say? Sunflowers.